All right, all right. Hi, guys. Welcome back. All right, so this is going to be a collective message, and it's going to be for the 6th of January. If you guys want to make a suggestion of a topic for a collective message, feel free to jot that down in the comment section. I just kind of go through, and where I see suggestions, I'll randomly grab one. And so if I don't see suggestions, I'll just pull from my own deck of my own kind of broad topics. And I just thought it would be nice to, since they are collective storytellings, it would be fun to make it very collective so everybody gets a chance to throw in a topic. But you certainly don't have to, okay? But we had a great topics suggestion by Heather Cowdrick, and the topic was overcoming humiliation. I think you said it specifically in relationships, but I thought we'd make it broader and just say, what's the universe's message for us on overcoming humiliation? Because let's be honest, in life, there's a lot of that in general, a lot of that. So let's take a broad look. Okay, devil. So, first off, the universe says, well, to even feel a sense of humiliation is kind of like an energy of negativity that no one should have to be trapped in, right? That's our probably our negative self-talk is what this suggests. Please remember, these are fictional stories about fictional characters. I'm not going to tell you how life is or give you wisdom, or I'm not trying to give you advice or anything like that, but this is just food for thought. And in this fictional story, the universe, we're asking, how does one overcome humiliation? And the universe says, well, first, to recognize that that's negative self talk. To even say I'm humiliated might be something we're placing upon ourselves. And that is probably because we're upset and we're chained to something toxic. So, Six of Wands, what is the remedy for being chained to something to escape it, to move on? What is the remedy for thinking badly about ourselves, to move on and think positively about ourselves? Because the Six of Wands is success. And here we see only emperors and emperors ride in chariots. And on this Six of Wands, we have somebody riding right through town, head held high. It almost says that humiliation is a state of mind that we do not have to allow ourselves to live in. And in fact, that's a really, that indicates, if we're feeling humiliated, it indicates that we might be trapped in a toxic relationship or a toxic cycle still, where we're telling ourselves negative things. And so how do you get out of it? To move toward the positive things, to move forward into the things that we do really well. To overcome the humiliation is to look at the things we do that are already our successful talents and our gifts, and the way that we interact with others in positive ways. To stop thinking about this negative and to imagine that everyone sees the way we've been treated or what we've allowed to happen to ourselves, and all this negativity that we just kind of heap and heap and heap on ourselves when we're in that mindset of, shame and humiliation and embarrassment. And it says that's actually just a state of mind, which is super reassuring to think of it like that. And that our character, all they have to do to get out of that is to go the opposite direction with their thought process. Um, in this case, it's go to the right, not to the left. So what does that mean? It's when I turn this card around and I view it, I know here it's going left, but in fact, it's actually going to the right. It's everything's reversed in the camera. Um, I want to get more specific on that. What does that mean? Go to the right. Ace of Wands in the reverse. This is, so Ace of Wands is about passion and the passion for the unknown. Look, that can get us into trouble, right? Anytime we're interested in something that we don't know about, we're passionate about it, to want to go find out about it, it means we always risk making a mistake because we don't have information about that situation yet. So, in the event a character is feeling humiliated about something, feeling vulnerable, feeling exposed, feeling like they made mistakes, feeling like they got stuck in something toxic, the universe says, well, first off, you always get to move away from that and that thought process. But to choose to go to the right, to move a different direction, means we probably have to have our character change something about what they've been doing. This says Once they've learned that something is toxic, to not keep choosing it, and then that'll probably alleviate it, because like we're all going to make mistakes, that's just a part of life. But if our character wants to alleviate that sense of, you know, negativity that they're heaping upon themselves, they can be proud that they said, yeah, I didn't know about that, I was interested in it, I was passionate about it, I looked into it, I tried to solve the mystery. But you know, if it turns out that what I found at the end of me trying to solve that mystery was a whole lot of toxicity, then kudos to me for learning that, for having the bravery to go toward it and to try to figure it out. Because the Sphinx is the great mystery, right? I was passionate enough, curious enough, interested enough to go toward something I did not know, or to go toward a person and I didn't know who they were. And you don't know until you get to know someone, until you get invested in them, until you start to learn. And it takes a while. You know, mysteries are hard to solve. And in fact, the mystery of the Sphinx has never been solved. So in that case, maybe the mystery of getting to know someone won't ever fully be solved either. But when we start to see enough toxic traits, we go, aha, I still can give myself credit for the fact that I was brave enough to try to figure something out, to meet someone, to get to know them, to figure out who they were. But I also learned that when I really knew enough to realize that it was toxic, that's when I stopped choosing to keep learning more about the toxicity at some point. May not be right away, might take a long time. Come on, we're still trying to figure out the mystery of the Sphinx, right? But at some point, if our character is saying, I want to move away from this energy, this negative energy, basically, they've already turned the corner. They've already, taken the right path, the path that'll lead them back to being like successful. And it really is because they can change their mindset and they can say, why did I go toward it? Because I didn't know what it was going to be like. I needed to figure it out, or maybe I sensed it might not be great, but I needed to look at that mystery before I just assumed something was toxic. So I'm a curious individual with a lot of passion, a lot of creativity. I chose to go seek something out, to learn about it. And then eventually, when I learned it was no good for me, I also had the courage to say, well, that was no good for me. So guess what? I feel better about myself. I feel better about myself because although I tried and it didn't turn out great, I still, um, I was unafraid to seek the mystery and seek the answers, even if I didn't find them. But when I found out enough to say, I think I want to move in a different direction, I'm also dynamic enough to know that I can change and go in a new direction. It really, all of this is just a peace of mind, but I think it says our character can't keep heaping shame on themselves. Also, it's a wonderful reminder to say, with the 8 of Sacred Circles, this is all about the work that we do in our lifetime. Our entire life is a work of art. Now, what I like about this, and this is just to my limited knowledge, Native American populations would use like every single part of, if they killed a buffalo, for example, the hide would be used for warmth. The food would be, the meat would be eaten. The fat would be used as, like a lubricant or a grease, something to, for to keep the skin hydrated. Every single thing, the other pieces of the skin could be used to make drum heads. Every part of something would be utilized to the fullest. To look at our life and our life experiences as if I used every experience to the fullest, meaning I gained the most value out of everything that I did. So even if I was in something that turned out to be toxic, even if it was a mystery I never fully solved, instead of walking away humiliated, I can say, I invested so much effort because I wanted to get the most lesson out of it, the most bang for my buck. Maybe I gave a ton, yes, but I also received a ton because I worked so much on something. Instead of being humiliated, it's like, but I'm proud of myself because I approached something like it had value. So I gave it my full attention and I learned as much as I could out of it. So let me really identify how much I took away from this situation, not a humiliation, but what did I get for this? What was the lesson? Because it probably, if this character sits down and jots down the amount of things that they got for this, how they utilized all of the experiences, all of the time to gain something. And then they might want to like sit down and consider it from like their different senses. What did my instinct learn? What did my spirit learn? What did my soul learn? What did my physical body learn? What did my eyes see? What did my ears hear? What were the messages that came out of me having dealt with this situation that will be of benefit to me further down the road in my life? What value do I take with me? Because I worked so hard on something, that means I probably gained a ton from it. But until our character can actually look at it for the value that they gained from it, they may continue to feel bad about, like, gosh, look at what I did. I invested somewhere, or I feel like a fool, or I feel this or that. And it's like, no, they put their life energy into something. And for that, there will have been some exchange. There will be some payout. There will be something that they gained from it. But they should anyway allow themselves to take all of the best pieces of the lesson and kind of reassure themselves that there's nothing to be ashamed of or embarrassed of. They learned things. And that's all of it is a work in progress. Nobody has all the answers. We just learn things as we go. So there's really nothing to be humiliated about. It's just a big old classroom. Sometimes getting stuff wrong is how we learn the most valuable lessons. Not getting it right the first time every time, but the things that we get wrong give us the greatest amount of feedback. Like if we look at it like a scientific experiment, a scientist puts together this hypothesis, what they think is going to happen, and they test it out, and then they record everything that happened, and they look at, okay, at this point in time, what was the reaction, and when this happened, then what happened, and they look at it and try to define, where was the breakdown, but where were the successes, so that then they can try that experiment again and tweak it a little bit. So if our character looks at it with a more scientific mind and a mindset of what did I gain? Where were the lessons? What did my soul learn? What did my spirit learn? What did my eyes see? What did my ears hear? What things do I take away? Because they probably have taken away a ton from this experience. So again, we replace humiliation or, vacancy with abundance and with value. And I think it's such a reassurance that there's not really, I mean, maybe there's mistakes in the sense that there's things that our character doesn't want to do again, but they learned that too, which is valuable. But it's like, it's not looking at everything as, oh my God, I'm humiliated and I made these mistakes and shame, shame, shame. It's looking at it like, okay, I did this thing. What did I get for it? Let me look at it like that. And let me certainly change my mindset so I'm more proud of myself for moving onward from it and taking the value from it instead of feeling ashamed that I ever even dealt with it. Our character wouldn't have this moment of heroism of having moved on from something if they had never been in it in the first place, right? What makes a hero or a courageous person brave and courageous? Because first there was something scary for them to overcome, right? Courage is seeing the fear, knowing the fear, but doing the brave thing anyway, pushing beyond the fear. But if the fearful thing was never there in the first place, would they still be a hero? Would they still be courageous? Same thing. This person, to overcome the humiliation and feel this good about themselves, they actually first had to face something that was really difficult. So in that one instance, it's like, well, then damn, when I flip it over like that, I did pretty darn good because of a difficult situation. I'm glad I overcame the humiliation. I'm glad I even encountered something that forced me to think of myself in a more positive light. That's going to serve me well moving forward, to always move toward the positive and to get the value out of everything. I kind of think that this character has just simply undersold themselves on just how powerful they actually are and just how proud they should be of themselves. I'm going to leave that one there. As I say, I'm a fictional storyteller, but I really liked this one. I thought that was a nice, probably like really relevant topic and something that had a nice, hi, sweetie pie, that had a nice vibe to it. My baby is awake. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. Thanks for giving it a thumbs up and subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.